Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I am your host again, JL, joined as always by my friend Josh.
I love you, man. I love you.
Bring back Simon. And we are joined by a very special guest and good friend of the show, Jon Jeune. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm happy I get to have that friend of the show title next to my name. I like to be a friend of the show, especially a good show like this one. Front Yard Fantasy, good people. Maybe Josh sometimes, but I'm just kidding.
Medium
Josh
people.
is great all the time. No, but definitely
I'll take medium. I'll take average.
Hey, Simon's not here, so you've got to step up and take his place here in terms of being one of my favorite people on this show. So,
this is the time to talk crap about Simon. Actually, he's not here, so
here to defend
crap on him as much.
Yes,
Exactly.
If you're not already following John, make sure you go follow him at JR Football Nerd. He is the host of Fantasy Football Diagnostics. I like that. I'm going to make that a word. As well as the Now We Have Liftoff Jets podcast. He's a contributor to Gridiron Rating and breaking news, I would say. He's a fan-sided contributor to the Jet Press. John, you do not stop being tireless, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know. People ask me. It was funny. I was on a show one time, and I told them all the stuff I did, and they said, "Single with no kids, right?" I said, "No, married, no kids yet, though." But I don't know. We'll see how I keep all this up, especially once we get to the season and Fantasy Football Diagnostics goes to 4 shows a week, and we'll still be doing Now We Have Liftoff, and have another show in the works with Gridiron Rating. So we're looking at like 6 shows in a week. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be a nice long 18 weeks of football, but it'll be fun.
Yes.
It's going to go by so quickly. You say long, but you just wait. Well, you'll be at the end of the season like, what just happened?
You know what they say, do what you love and you love what you do.
Amen.
And you never work a day in your life.
There it is. Maria, I'm surprised. And before Maria's about to come in here and say, you never get sayings right. Craig in here, all of the tier jokes are pretty well played out over the weeks on here, so I won't do one. Let's just see how fast they can jet through these tiers today. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 ho.
Craig, you're the man, Craig. I hate it and love it all at the same time.
All at the same time. We said, do these guys ever start the show on time? Listen, I couldn't figure out the button. Simon's not here. I don't know how to start this thing.
2:34. What does she want from us?
That's
what does
true.
she want from us?
Lower your expectations, Maria. Lower them. Jay Wall in here. Let's get it. Jay as well. Hey.
What's up, Jay?
Anthony said, missed the show yesterday. Talk about lack of fortune. What's up, gang?
Pulling the Craig.
I like that.
Pulling the Craig.
We played Fantasy Fortune yesterday.
We did.
And Jordan said, I get to see JL tomorrow. I'm meeting a god tomorrow. That sound like 2 separate things. Who's the god?
Well, he said he's going to see you, and he's meeting me.
And then also he's meeting. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to continue on the Simon, like praising Simon theme.
No, we're shitting on Simon.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Swampy said, "Who dat?" At work once again. We cry. We all cry.
DK
Jay with DK Metcalf.
Yes, exactly.
Simon's not here, so we get to make fun of him about DK Metcalf.
Absolutely.
We get to make fun of him about DK Metcalf. Ryan Crawford. No cheater Simon today? No cheater Simon today. He's on a plane. Can't cheat on the plane.
You could.
And Anthony says he honestly can't choose a favorite FYFer. I feel like he can probably choose his least favorite, and I'm just going to go ahead and nominate myself. I think that's fair for most viewers.
I'm the favorite. He knows.
Oh, okay. So he can nominate. Okay. Oh, Jay asked, where is Simon today? Josh, why don't you tell us? Where is Simon today?
No, he's gone. We fired him.
That's it. Last
we
straw.
replaced him with John. So, John, I hope you're okay with adding another 6 shows
7.
to your already 6 shows every day.
I might have run out of characters on my Twitter bio to fit it in, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, let's just get rid of spaces. We'll make it work. Spicy McNutt says, yo, what up, Spicy? Good to see you.
How spicy is it?
Oh, and he sent one of his teams in Discord if you want to give some feedback. I'm going to check that out after the show. I did see it. Unfortunately, I've been running around before this trip to Canton this morning, so I have not been on my computer, but I will check it out after the show. Maria says, hey.
I've got so much FOMO from Canton, by the way, because unfortunately I won't be going.
Oh,
I was trying to see if I could swing it last minute, but the flights from New York to Canton or just Ohio in general were stupid expensive.
You can just drive like me.
I was gonna drive, but I honestly, man, I really couldn't fit the 8 or 9 hour drive into my schedule. It was just kind of mapping it out. It was just like, this will be too crazy. So
fair enough. Listen, I got this beautiful team to go with too. Like, that they're making me come,
Yeah,
I would love to hang out with you, John.
Yeah, the next one, John, you're definitely going to. I'm making that decision for you. And that the cheat code for me has been fly to Cleveland. Apparently, no one wants to go to Cleveland, so it's very cheap.
Dude, it was not cheap. It was like $400 a ticket.
Each way?
Damn. No,
were you looking yesterday?
No, this was like last week.
Fair enough. I'm messing around with you.
Maria says, has everyone been reminded to like and subscribe? Not yet. Not yet. She says
they have now.
She says that auto-corrected to lick. You can also lick and subscribe. We encourage you to lick and subscribe.
That's a different site.
You should have just left it.
Different site. That would have. Should have just left it for sure. Oh my God.
I'll lick whoever.
That's a good reminder. If you can,
Front Yard OnlyFans.
Front Yard OnlyFans. It's actually FYF Josh OnlyFans.
We're putting up a really good group as part of our OnlyFans. I highly suggest it. Come on in.
Yeah, I don't. So many people aren't using that platform, but we are. We certainly are. Oh Lord. But yes, please do us a big favor. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Front Yard Fantasy. You can also follow us on Twitch and follow us on Twitter at Front Yard FYF. And each of us individually, you will get some fantastic fantasy content. It may or may not help you, but it will certainly entertain you. I can say that. So today we are going to be playing tiers. We got redraft QBs and Netflix original series or movies. I think it's both, right?
Series, right? Okay. Yeah. Exactly. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. Netflix original series. We got some shows in there. We got some documentaries. We're having a good time.
Let's get to it because we got.
I'm ready. I'm ready to dive right in.
Dive right in.
Look
who it is, Titus Maximus the Fourth. I like that title. What a squad. What up, Dan? Good to see you.
What's going on, Dan?
I gotta get Dan to do some tiers too. I feel like Dan's got some spicy takes.
I'm sure he does. All right. So we have our tiers here. We are starting with redraft quarterbacks. We are tiering the redraft quarterbacks. And John, I got to tell you something. I was sitting here beforehand and I want to get us moving. I want to create some tiers today, right? So I personally made a slight judgment call, but it's not all on me. It's not all about me, right? This isn't all about me. I want to ask you your opinion. I just went ahead and put these 4 quarterbacks at the top in tier 1. How does this make you feel? And would you separate this all? I know there's an argument to be made that Patrick Mahomes maybe deserves to be the number 1 by himself, right? I'm drafting him first in all my leagues, but when it comes down to it, these other 3 quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson, all have supreme rushing upside and can pass the ball. And I fully expect them to be pretty close to Patrick Mahomes when it comes down to it in points at the end of the year. How's that make you feel, John?
Yeah, so I've been kind of just going on this whole thing since basically the offseason with the Chiefs that Patrick Mahomes, I think, is going to go nuclear, right? Like you just look at what he did last year and the year that he had. And, we talk about, he was a guy that doesn't get sacked a lot. A lot of that has to do with his escapability. But he was under pressure last year and still had a phenomenal year. He was the QB2 in terms of fantasy points per game at 24.9. And that's just under Dak Prescott, who obviously we know missed most of the season. But how do you have to just what I'm doing when I was going through my projections, just how can this guy get better if this offensive line, which was supposedly bad last year, is getting exponentially better, right? They go out, they add Joe Tooney, they add Orlando Brown to play left tackle, they add Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith in the draft to play in the interior of the offensive line. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, he's back, but he's obviously dealing with an injury right now. Kyle Long, they talked him out of retirement. So this offensive line is getting a major upgrade. And you're telling me I'll probably get some flack for saying it, but the most talented quarterback that I've ever seen step on a football field is getting this type of an offensive line upgrade when to the naked eye, it didn't seem to affect him all that much. Like, what is that going to do for Patrick Mahomes?
Outside the Super Bowl.
Outside of the Super Bowl, right? That's when we really saw it really affect them.
Yeah.
But now, what does that do? What does that do for their play action? What does that do for like Tyreek Hill? Does it give him that extra split second to get down the field, right? Like, I think these are things to consider when we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, and that's why I will have him in a tier by himself.
So, I was talking to JL before the show about this, and I was kind of saying that. I would say either these guys all belong in a tier together, in my mind personally, or Patrick Mahomes belongs in a tier completely by himself. But, so JL, what do you think? Do you have an opinion here?
I'm fine with that. I would put Kyler in the tier with him because the offense he's on, and like you said, the rushing upside along with the passing, what I believe to be a high passing volume offense this year. And so I would, if we're going to separate it, I would draw the line there. But
I can't do that. I can't do that then.
That's fair.
So are you drafting Kyler Murray ever ahead of Patrick Mahomes? Let me ask you that.
No, I would take Mahomes. I completely agree with John.
I say we just do it then. Are we okay with doing that?
Then do it.
All right, we're doing it. We're putting Patrick Mahomes in a tier by him freaking self. This is going to change things a little bit though. So John, you're okay with that, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. You were like,
No, I was nodding, but then I was like, I have to remember the people that are listening. Yes.
Yes. Am I going to get a lot of crap for this? So this is a redraft, guys. It's redraft league. In a dynasty league, actually, I'm not changing very much. In a dynasty league, I think Patrick Mahomes separates himself even more, in my opinion.
Craig is making an argument that photo of Tom makes him tier 1 automatically. I don't know. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. Well done, Jay.
But when it comes down to it, John kind of said this earlier. Patrick Mahomes is amazing. I've always said Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen, like as a physical talent on the field. But Patrick Mahomes is starting to make me change my mind. So so let's just work with these. We're gonna leave this as it is, and we're gonna work with it else. John, we got a list of quarterbacks here. Who do you want to talk about? Good or bad? Whatever you want to do. You think someone belongs in this tier 2 with these other guys? Maybe.
And by the way, Anthony, this is redraft QBs.
Honestly, it's tough because I'm looking at Dak Prescott. He's my QB 5 here, and we saw the upside from last year. We saw him talk about. I mean, there was a quote that came out today that he wants the offense to be a bit more balanced. Thinks that they can run the football a little bit, and he doesn't want to be in these high shootouts. But they attempted over 600. I mean, they were on pace for over 600 pass attempts last year, well over 600 pass attempts, and they were lighting it up. And I don't think that their defense got that much better. I know a lot of people talk about Dan Quinn and the addition of Dan Quinn, but does everyone forget that every time Atlanta gave the defense over to Dan Quinn, it got worse? Like,
I remember.
So that's one of the things that I'm just like, what if everyone's
Dan
wrong
Quinn
about
Dallas?
Dallas?
Much, I feel like, in my mind.
What if their defense doesn't take that step that everyone's expecting? And what if we do get the Dak Prescott that we saw last year with a healthy Amari Cooper and a second-year CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, and Zeke Elliott looks to be in better shape this year as well. So you could make that argument, but I say all that.
What do you say? What do you say?
I say all that to say,
and that's fine. I think there's an argument to be made to say he belongs in tier 2. Don't get me wrong. And now that we separated this out, I think you can make that argument even easier. So what do you think? Tier 2 or tier 3?
I'm still going to keep him in tier 3. I said all that, but I'm going to just keep him in tier 3.
All right. JL, what do you think?
Yeah, I am fine putting Dak in tier 3. Dak was on pace for just record-breaking season last year. I am worried about the injury a little bit, and so I would put him probably at the bottom of tier 3. We had that super weird cryptic tweet from the Cowboys yesterday. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
This isn't a setback. Yeah,
we just want to check on it.
Yeah. Before you even say it, it's not a setback.
It's not
Have
a
you guys watched
problem.
Have you guys watched Hard Knocks, by the way?
Yes, I just finished it. Yeah,
I haven't.
Jerry Jones, sorry for spoiling for anybody who hasn't watched it, but make sure you go watch. Jerry Jones seemed to be very, very concerned
Yeah,
I
about
believe
Dak
it.
Prescott.
My favorite part of Hard Knocks so far has been Jerry Jones opening up his little breakfast sandwich and then just pouring salt on it. Just like pouring salt on his sausage and cheese biscuit. It's disgusting.
I just like how it was clearly a McGriddle, but they didn't want you to know that it came from McDonald's or that it was a McGriddle. But you could clearly
pouring
tell
salt on his McGriddle
on a McGriddle.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never want to kill himself.
I've never thought. Let me open up this breakfast sandwich and this thing. Let me from the jump pour a bunch of salt.
There are real people out there. There are real people. I had a friend in high school that he got his pizza. He loved his pizza at the cafeteria. He would get all the oil off, right? He would dab the oil, then add salt.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I also put Dak Prescott in tier 3, and it's simply because of that injury, really. I think the argument to be put him into tier 2 for redraft purposes makes complete sense, but with this injury, he's definitely in tier 3 for me. I'm glad we all agree. JL, we're coming to you. Is there a guy you want to talk about here?
Yeah, let's talk about Creepy Tom. Creepy Tom.
There it is.
Tom Brady, I feel like, is a perfect redraft QB to target because it doesn't feel like his ADP really has caught up with where I expect him to finish. Last year he led the league in air yards as well as 20+ yard completions. I think, and not much has changed in his situation. So I think what we're going to see is a high-powered Buccaneers offense again, and Tom Brady, who was just going to be reliable and. For that for where he's going in drafts, why not? So I'm going to put him in tier 3. I think I would put him at the top of tier 3. I'm taking him above Dak at this point.
I love that, JL. I agree with everything you said. I put him in tier 3 as well. For his value, that's where the value really is, because it feels like you can get him a little bit later than these other guys. I'm still taking Dak above him. At the shoulder, if we get closer to the beginning of the season, the shoulder's still an issue, then I'm out on Dak. But at this point, if I had to choose, I would take Dak above him. But tier 3 for me as well. John, what do you think?
Yeah, Tom Brady's interesting, right? Because I think when I stat him out statistically, he ends up as my QB6. But when I look at rankings and how I'm taking players, I really value that weekly rushing floor in my quarterback. And you have so many guys that bring that. And I think with Tom Brady's, the upside is going to be there, but there's also going to be 1 or 2 games out of the year where he throws a clunker up there, gets you like 12, 15 points. And it's like, hey, that doesn't really help me. And it's just interesting, right? Because I'm thinking about obviously, everyone on Twitter, I think, all the experts and wannabe experts, whatnot, including myself, we all look at Tom Brady as maybe less exciting than some of these other guys that have this rushing upside, where I think in your home league, Tom Brady probably is going to go higher.
That's a good point.
Just because of the name.
Right, maybe. Because of the name value, just won a Super Bowl. Everyone's like, oh, he's the greatest player ever. So I think he might go higher in your home leagues than he would in your typical analyst draft or something like that.
And so, that, to be honest with you.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought about it either.
So for that, I'm kind of just always going to, I want Russell Wilson. I want Justin Herbert. I want Jalen Hurts. I want Ryan Tannehill, these guys that have that rushing floor that I can bank on week to week, and then combine that when they have these explosion games in the passing game.
Yeah.
So what tier for Tom for you?
I will put him. Tom for me is probably the top of tier 4. Just the very top of tier 4, just because of the guys with the rushing upside, because some of them are still here on the board.
Well, unfortunately, JL and I chose tier 3. Not unfortunately, but we did choose tier 3. So he is going to go into tier 3 regardless. If you choose tier 5, that actually might have, but that would be ridiculous to put him in tier 5 here, right? But I want to talk about another guy here. I'm Aaron Rodgers, right? I think he belongs there right next to Tom Brady, right next to Dak Prescott, tier 3. It's an easy choice for me. We know he's playing this season. He has all the weapons in the world. He's gonna not have as many touchdowns as last season. He's gonna have a little, he's definitely gonna have less touchdowns. Let's just leave it at that, right? He's not gonna be as efficient.
I like
right?
how you revealed that. Yeah.
I wanted to build the anticipation. I was tempted to talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Aaron Rodgers here. Aaron Rodgers here. He's going in tier 3. What do you think, John?
So Aaron Rodgers, I think again, he's probably in the similar boat for me as Tom Brady, where I prefer some of these guys with that rushing upside. I mean, it was just a year
when
ago.
You say some of these guys, like who are you putting above him? I mean, like we already have Kyler, Josh Allen, and Lamar in tier 2.
Yeah, so when I'm specifically talking about guys like Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Ryan Tannehill, those 3 guys specifically, because
you're drafting them above.
Just because of the rushing upside. We're playing season long, right? I'm looking at my quarterback on a week-to-week basis. I don't want to have to worry about bad matchups. Not that you really consider that with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, but I want that weekly rushing floor to be there. I mean, there was the Niners game a few years ago or a couple years ago where Aaron Rodgers basically, I think he had put out like single-digit points. Right. And I don't want those kinds of games. And these guys like Justin Herbert, I mean, and that's belief that Justin Herbert, I think, runs more in this Brandon Staley, Joe Lombardi led offense. I think they're, like they said, they're tailoring it to Justin Herbert. Russell Wilson, who obviously we know is going to run for 400 to 500 rushing yards.
Yeah.
We saw what he did last year. # let Russ cook was trending for like 8 weeks on Twitter. And then Ryan Tannehill, who I don't think gets enough respect for how efficient he is. He was second in the NFL last year in fantasy points per dropback that came by way of passing, and he was top 5 in fantasy points per dropback total. So this guy was an absolute beast last year. He's not going to run for 7 rushing touchdowns again, like I think he did last year. But you add Julio Jones, to already AJ Brown, who's an ascending player. I think Ryan Tannehill has this nice mix of passing upside with this nice rushing floor that he has. And he's always going to be an opportunity to score these rushing touchdowns. They run a lot of read option down by the goal line. So for those reasons, I don't want to go into a week where it's like, oh, they're playing against this souped up defensive line and Aaron Rodgers is going to be in trouble and there's no other way for him to score. Or, Devontae Adams is face down with a, shutdown corner and don't think he's found one yet. But, things like that to where I don't want to have to depend on just the passing upside of Aaron Rodgers for him to throw 45 touchdowns again. Like that's not going to happen.
I completely understand that. So JL, what do you think there?
Yeah, I think Josh, I agree with you. But
so you're putting him in tier 4, John, right?
I would put him. So he's 1 spot ahead of Brady.
In your rankings.
Yeah, 1 spot ahead of Brady for me in my rankings. So I probably would put him either at the top of tier 4 or slide him ahead of Tom Brady in tier 3. So in this case for us, because we're doing this together, I will put him in tier 3, just ahead of Tom Brady.
Perfect. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think Josh, I agree with you, and I think that Aaron Rodgers has a lot to prove this year. I think that it's possible he could reach. I mean, he had 35 passing touchdowns this past. I believe that's right? 35?
45, I thought it was, but
was it 45?
I mean, Devontae Adams at 18. So
I think it was 48.
Yeah. So 48, I think. Okay, pass. Anyway, I think he can reach that 40 touchdown threshold again this year. With Devontae Adams, with Aaron Jones there. I think he's securely in tier 3.
Fair enough. I think he's in tier 3, and I want to put him above Tom myself. No offense to Tom.
No offense to
John,
Tom.
Aaron
John
Rodgers
said that.
Had 48 passing.
That is
rushing.
so crazy. That is so crazy. And
but
how many rushing yards did he have? Like not many.
Rushing yards, like 149.
Probably. Yeah.
But just the year before, right? We're talking about how Aaron Jones is going to suffer from this, touchdown regression. And then Aaron Rodgers comes in and has this huge touchdown season. So don't we think it could flip the other way?
Yeah,
it could.
And Aaron Jones was still a great running back last year.
He was, yeah. And Dave asks, is Dak not tier 2 simply due to injury? Because that definitely factored into it. As we discussed, Absolutely. I think that if those concerns weren't there, he might. You can make the argument for tier 2.
This is pretty crazy. Jordan coming in. I think Herbert has a real chance to get the majority of the goal line rushing in Los Angeles. I mean, I guess I could see why he's saying that. I mean, Austin Eckler's their starting running back. Josh Kelly didn't maybe prove enough, and I think he's dealing with injuries right now. So I don't know about the majority, but I could see him getting a lot more rushing touchdowns this season.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
And Dave came in and said tier 3 is going to be a big tier. I'm kind of seeing that play out maybe myself as well.
Yeah.
So John, is there another guy you wanted to talk about here?
Yeah, let's talk about the man that Jordan just brought up in the comments, man. The big Herbert.
Yeah, look at him Herbert. with the hair and everything here.
Yeah, so to me, he belongs in that tier 3. Because you just look at the offense that he's going to. Joe Lombardi comes from the New Orleans Saints. We saw Drew Brees operate that thing. Again, it's Drew Brees, but they said that they're going to build this offense around Justin Herbert. Brandon Staley, who was one of my favorite coaching hires across the NFL last year, he's a former quarterback. I know he's got this defensive coordinator title that he's coming with from the Rams. But again, being that former quarterback, Sean McVay referred to him as the defensive-minded version of himself. He came in, and one of the first things he said was, we're going to build this offense around Justin. He's a very special player, and we're going to accentuate what he does well. And so when you look at that, I think the Chargers offense last year, the Chargers coaching staff, Anthony Lynn, great guy, love him. I mean, he was one of the Jets coaches, the Jets running back coach for a while, so I am very familiar with him from then. But when it came to coaching this Chargers team and this offense, and I felt like they tried to hide their rookie quarterback when in fact their rookie quarterback was the only reason that they were in games to begin with. And I think that we're going to see the Chargers really lean on Justin Herbert this year. And, we're going to see more passing on first and second down, as opposed to last year where they ran a lot on first and second down. And so I think, we're going to see Justin Herbert just kind of elevate his game. I alluded to it before, but I think the rushing upside, I think the rushing goes there as, gets up there as well in terms of the attempts and the yardage. But like Jordan said, I think he can also be a threat around the goal line with those rushing touchdowns. So I think Herbert definitely belongs in tier 3. For me personally, he's my QB 6, right behind Dak Prescott and just ahead of a guy we haven't spoke about yet. So I'll leave that for later.
I bet I could guess who it is. But anyway, so you're putting him in tier 3. You think he's pretty high in tier 3, and he really deserves to be there going in the second season. JL, what do you think?
I would probably put him in tier 4. I think I have him slightly separated from these guys in tier 3, not by much. I think he's at the top of tier 4. He had a very good rookie season, and I think that he's set up to have another good, or a good sophomore season. So, but I would put him in tier 4.
So it looks like I'm kind of the tiebreaker here, and I am going to put him in tier 3. Actually, I think there's an argument to be made that he belongs with these other guys because of the rushing upside that John loves to keep bringing up, because I completely agree. Rushing quarterbacks thrive in fantasy football. That's what it comes down to. And if we're talking about a dynasty league, Justin Herbert's above a lot of, definitely above top rating Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, let's throw him in tier 3.
He does rush, but he does not rush as much as some of these other rushing quarterbacks.
That's absolutely correct. And that's why he's not in tier 2.
Yeah.
But he's second season, and I still need to see him prove it. I would still draft these 3 guys that we have ahead of him here before Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
for what it is.
I would agree with that.
And there's one other guy I would draft ahead of him, but I still think they're in the same tier in my mind. So, JL, what do you think? Who do you want to talk about next?
Yeah, let's talk about Russell Wilson, who would be the one other guy who I would definitely draft over Herbert.
And John, is that the guy you were thinking about real fast?
He is my QB 7, but there's still one more guy. There's one more guy here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, JL. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah. Russell Wilson was a QB 2 in points per game from weeks 1 to 9. He was fantastic. Russell Wilson he's a good quarterback. He's got that rushing upside like we were talking about. And to me, that gives him an edge. I think the Seahawks offense is going to be pretty powerful this season. So I'm gonna put him in tier 3.
Tier 3 for Russell Wilson. All right. And I couldn't agree more. You summed it up perfectly for me. He's got a little bit more rushing upside. I'm a little bit nervous about the offense running a bit more, but we were nervous about that going into last year and see what happened. I mean, yeah, sure, he got less efficient by the end of the year, but I am still excited about Russell Wilson. Tier 3 for me. John, what do you think?
Yeah, no, he's clearly tier 3. I mean, I think I have some of the same concerns you might have, Josh, where it's like, are they going to try to run the ball? They fired Brian Schottenheimer because they felt he didn't run it enough. So do they do that? So that's still a concern, but this guy is super efficient. As Jay said, Mr. Unlimited. So I think, I think he really is unlimited in what he could do from a passing standpoint. And so if they do open it up like they did those first 8 weeks and he's going off the board QB7, QB8, like that's a value to you because he can easily do that in the same offense that he's been in, right? It's when they throw the ball, when they throw it effectively and they throw it more, I think that's when we see him really, just jump into that top 3, top 5 range that we saw him in a lot of times last year.
Absolutely. So just one more guy I wanted to bring up as the last person is Ryan Tannehill. I'm putting him right with these other guys, and it's the last person I'm personally going to put in this tier. There's one other guy you can make an argument for. I'm not putting him there quite yet. I want to put him there. There's one other guy I want to put there, but it's Ryan Tannehill. What do you think, John? Tier 3.
No, I'm total agreement with you. I mean, he's the guy I was alluding to before. He is my QB8. Again, I said it before, but he was super efficient last year. Loses Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith, but replaces it with a Hall of Fame receiver and Julio Jones. I think that we could potentially – I know everyone's concerned about Arthur Smith, but I think that Ryan Tannehill has gotten to a point as a player where he's going to be just – he's so – I think escaping Adam Gase, getting into a new fresh setting – right? Crazy.
Who would have known?
But I think that we see him continue the efficiency that he's kept up over the last year. And Jay Wall, we might be crazy, but we'll see at the end of the year.
We'll see.
What do you think?
I love that response. What
do you think? Are you putting him in tier 3 or tier 4? Yeah, for Tannehill.
Tannehill's tier 4.
If you put him in tier 5, it will change, but I'm
going to put him in tier 4. I'm going to be true to my rankings here.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's Tannehill's more of an efficiency guy versus volume. And that offense is going to be run heavy. And so I do think that Tannehill, there's a slight difference or a slight break between guys, but I'm excited for him. I think the addition of Julio makes his chances of finishing in that QB1 territory way up. Makes me much more confident.
The Julio. I wish he wasn't injured right now. It would make me feel even more confident. But that Julio aspect really changes things in my mind as well. All right. So let me get this last tier list or this second tier list we've got going.
Yeah. While you get that ready, Jordan says, chat, if you had to be the plant behind JL or the diploma behind Josh, what would you be? And Anthony said, I'd be afraid to be the plant because to JL, that could become lunch rather quickly. Well, it's not a real plant. And so it wouldn't be the tastiest lunch, but I'm sure I would pass it. That's hilarious. And friendly reminder while Josh gets this ready, please subscribe if you haven't already to us on YouTube. Front Yard Fantasy helps us out a ton. It's free and you never miss another show. We go live every weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Every weekday.
Every single weekday we're here. One of the three of us here. And we're here on Fridays at 6 on the FanDuel Twitch channel doing the same type of show. And that is so much fun. So please check that out every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
And why would you ever want to miss these guys?
Why?
For what reason?
Why? Give me one good reason and I will listen.
JL doesn't always listen either. So
I don't.
If he's telling you he's gonna listen, but he's an honest guy though. At the same time, he's an honest guy. So
honest guy, but I don't listen very well.
I mean, to Jordan's comment, I have been trying to shed some weight, so maybe I should try some bad salmon.
It'll definitely get the weight down.
Mims.
Yeah. Oh,
talk to Simon about that. He's good about.
He's really good about shedding the
shedding pounds,
food weight. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we've got some Netflix originals here. If you need me to zoom in at all, we absolutely can. But John, we got a lot of good stuff here. Is there something you wanted to start on? Is there something that stands out to you here? Can you read this? Can you see?
I can read it. I definitely can read it.
Ones.
There's a ton of good ones.
So many good ones. So yeah, let's try to power through a little bit, but I still want us to talk about our good ones. So go ahead, John.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about one that I just kind of just wrapped up season 2, which and anticipating a season 3. But Outer Banks, I don't know if anybody's watched it. It's to me, it's a really good show. Me and my wife has thoroughly enjoyed it. It starts out as this guy trying to find clues to why his father disappeared. Turns out he was murdered. Turns out it was for a treasure hunt. So they're chasing this gold, and it just lasts. Again, like I said,
don't give anything away. I haven't finished it yet. So
not going to give anything away. I promise I'm trying to give the best synopsis I can without spoiling it for anybody. But it's just a wonderful show. It lasts 2 seasons. There's going to be a third. I'm pretty positive there will be a third. Sorry if I ruined that for you, Josh.
No, that's fine.
But if you haven't watched it, I definitely suggest you check it out. And in terms of a tier, I will put it in. I'm looking at the rest of these shows. I'll probably put it in the A tier. The A tier, because there's a lot of good ones, but that's just me. What about you guys?
JL, have you got an opinion?
I have not seen it, so I will abstain from this one.
Fair enough. I have started watching it. I'm only in season 1 still, but it's keeping my attention. I'm gonna finish it. Am I absolutely loving it? Is it blowing my mind at the moment? It's not. I'm putting it in B tier, but hey, look, we're going to put it in A. We're going to put it in A for you, John. It was your first choice you wanted to talk about. It deserves to be there. I think that's just fine. So, JL, what do you think?
Anthony said, hey, can you guys get FanDuel to bring back the draft app? That'd be great. We will absolutely put in a good one.
Oh, yeah. We got this kind of pool.
We got the pool, yeah. Yeah. All right, next I want to talk about. Oh God, there's so many good ones. I want to talk about Lupin.
So many good ones.
Lupin is a French show. It's a crime. I don't know what you call that, like crime thriller, like Sherlock Holmes type of crime thriller, but opposite. Like it's from the perspective of the bad guy.
Oh,
not the bad guy, but like the thief or whatever.
You're rooting for them, but they're stealing stuff.
Yeah, Lupin it's like what's it called?
He's a con man.
Robin Hood. It's a Robin Hood type of thing. You know what I mean?
Where like he's
a thief, but he does it for good. Yeah. So Lupin is fantastic. I think season 2 just came out recently. It's S tier for me.
To be completely honest, I haven't seen it, so
check it out.
Fantastic. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. Really good.
Really?
Like I said, no, it's really good. I mean, the only struggle I have is trying to bounce back and forth between do I watch it with the subtitles or not?
Just because it's got to be subtitles.
Yeah, it's got to be with the subtitles. The only thing is, it's like you're not getting like the actual translation, right? Because if you do it in English,
you know what? It's French. I will not abstain. It's F tier for France. No,
F tier for F tier.
I'm joking around. I'm sorry, John. I interrupt.
But no, so I was just saying, I definitely, it's a great show. I totally recommend it. Finished it like almost within, the first season, finished it almost instantly, and then the second season finished it almost instantly after that. So definitely suggest it.
So what tier?
I'm gonna agree with JL here, man. It belongs in the S tier.
Yes, John, my man.
Holy crap. Okay, I guess I do have to watch this. I don't love subtitles, but they also don't like completely deter me from watching something. So I'm gonna have to check this out. Oh my. So I want to talk about Big Mouth. I'm an animated fan. I like animated, funny stuff. I grew up as a Family Guy and South Park guy. Love Rick and Morty and Big Mouth. I'm putting above Family Guy, putting above pretty much all of these. I mean, South Park, they're in line. Rick and Morty's beating them a little bit, but Big Mouth's S tier for me. I think JL and I have discussed this before, and he's going to disagree, but I am all about Big Mouth. S tier for me. What do you think, John? Have you seen it?
Oh, absolutely love Big Mouth. Yeah, it definitely belongs in the S tier for me. I mean, it's a fantastic, it's hilarious. If you like Family Guy, you like The Simpsons, you like Futurama, this like trumps all of them, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I completely agree.
It's a really good show, and it really speaks from the perspective of like a teenager.
Yes, it does. And it tackles those issues so well. Like it's so creative how they do it. Sorry.
Yeah. And so you're kind of just like, oh, I remember thinking that when I was like 12 or 13 or whatever it was. Like it's an awesome show.
JL. I do have a big mouth.
never-
by the way, Josh.
I have never seen it, so I
Oh, you
don't know.
haven't?
Tim told me not to abstain. I haven't. No, I have not. I am not the biggest fan of shows like Family Guy or South Park, and so it's probably better that I haven't seen it for you, Josh. But I will abstain.
All right. Well, okay. I thought you were like saying Tim told me not to, so F.
I feel like I should, but I feel like that just ruins the integrity of the vote because I have no idea what I would vote for. Like, how would
I truly believe this belongs in S tier. It's such a freaking good show. It's so clever. It's so far. I mean, it's raunchy. Don't get me wrong. It's not for everyone. It's you do have to get past the first couple. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh my God, should I be watching this? Is this legal? But yeah, it's good. It's so good. John, what's the next show you want to talk about?
Let's talk about a show that maybe rubs some people the wrong way.
That's what I like to hear.
Black Mirror.
Oh, yes.
To me, yeah, I mean, everyone always says don't watch the first episode, watch like the second
That's
one.
the big one.
I forgot about that.
Big
That's
one,
funny.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good, but yeah, don't start.
No, it's really good, but like it's really heavy.
It's heavy. It's heavy. Yeah. It could turn you off.
Every episode is heavy. Every episode's heavy.
Yes, mostly every episode is heavy, but that one
not everyone has body.
I just was like, I watched it and I'm like, oh man, I don't think I could watch this show for like another month, you know? So,
it's a lot.
Once you get through them all, you know, it really gets your brain thinking. It really gets you moving. Like, you know, hey, what if this could really actually happen? You know, like the part where you're rating people. That's like Twitter, essentially, right? Like,
yeah.
You know,
that one's like the scariest to where it could be closest to real life.
Episode. I hate that episode.
Or like the memories one, right? Like, you know, who's to say that can't happen one day, right?
I hate that one too. I hate that one too.
The one with John Hamm too, where they're in the little egg.
I love that episode. So I'll get to it when it's my turn. Sorry.
No, so I mean, for me, man, where do you put Black Mirror?
It's incredibly tough for me too.
Yeah, I'm looking at what else we have here, and if anything else belongs in this S tier, and I see a couple. I'm gonna put Black Mirror in the A tier because it's not for everybody. So I will definitely put it in the A tier.
What do you think, JL?
I love shows like Black Mirror. I think the sci-fi, like actual thoughtful shows that actually make you think and, you know, challenge your constructs of like what storytelling can be are fantastic and are definitely up my alley. With that being said, I don't know that Black Mirror has a ton of rewatchability. Like, I never really want to go back and watch some of these episodes because I get the same feelings you guys talked about where I'm like, oh God, I hated that. Even though I enjoyed it the first watch. Yeah, it's very, very anxiety inducing. So I'm fine putting it in A tier. I think that's a fair place for it. But just in terms of like sci-fi and innovativeness, I would put it in S tier if rewatchability wasn't a factor.
In terms of innovativeness, the Black Mirror is awesome. It's amazing. Some of the episodes blow my mind, and I'm so compelled and I'm so intrigued. But you're absolutely correct, JL. I don't really want to rewatch any of these, and there's some episodes I don't even want to watch, period. They just give me so much anxiety. I'm like, oh, no, I don't even want to deal with this. Oh, man. But like, it's like half the episodes I absolutely love, and the other half I feel like that about. It belongs in A tier for sure. It does. It just does. That seems like the perfect spot for it. So A tier.
Dave says S tier for him. Sully agrees. Black Mirror is love or hate, in my opinion. Loved it.
It's like every other episode. I love or hate it. The episode. So yeah.
All right. What's next?
It's you, JL. Right?
It's me. It's me again.
Yeah. Okay. It is. There's
all
only
right.
three of us, so it's a little.
There is only three of us
around the turn.
Going very quick. All right, next I want to talk about Master of None.
Okay.
and this might be this. You maybe have to put an asterisk on this because I haven't really gotten through the latest season, and I feel like Aziz's, I don't know, mindset has just like gone off the deep end, and so I'm not quite sure how I feel about the show. But the first 2 seasons of Master of None were so beautifully written. There's some character development and everything that it was fantastic. I would put Master of None in S tier.
Wow, yeah, S tier. So I've watched myself some Master of None, and quite a bit. I've seen, not most of the show, but I've seen at least 13, 14, 15 episodes. And it just doesn't really do it for me. Like when we're talking about the grand scheme of all these great shows, Master of None's got to be like a C tier for me. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jail. And I'm sorry, this is the first discrepancy we had, but I'm just doing my thing over here. So, John, I'm putting it in C tier. What do you think?
I have to abstain. Think I've only seen one episode, and I think it was the first episode, and I don't know. I just haven't really. I heard good things, but I just never got into it, so I can't really vote on this one.
So, JL, I'm willing to bump it up to B, or put it into A. I mean, or
A is fine. I'm fine with putting it in A.
I'm willing to put it,
especially with that third season, which I haven't tuned into, so I think A is fine.
That's fine. With me putting it in C and you putting it in S, I think it technically goes into
would be
B.
Somewhere in between A and B. It would be,
but I think the way Simon calculates it, if it's like a 2.5, for instance, it would go
to B. Okay.
To B. But I'm fine putting it in A. It is a good show, and I could see why a lot of people really love it. But it's just not for me when it comes down to it. But anyway, let's see.
Yes, Maria.
Facts.
So I'm looking at all these shows, and like one I just absolutely freaking love is The Witcher. I'm putting an S tier. If you haven't seen The Witcher, everyone go see it. If you like fantasy related things, you're going to love this show. It kept me compelled the entire time. I'm so excited for the second season. And almost the fact that it's only one season makes me, I'm going to put it in A just because it only has one season. And but the first season is S tier level, but I'm going to put it in A just because one season. John, what do you think?
I think we started Witcher once, like the first episode.
Not for you.
I remember it actually being pretty good, but I think we were just caught up in probably getting into another show.
Yeah.
Like that we never made it. It was one of those shows like, oh, we got to get back to that. We just never made it back. So I'll definitely throw it back on the list because I for sure was intrigued when we watched it.
You don't feel comfortable putting a tier on it though?
I can't put a tier on it just because I don't think I've saw more than half the first episode.
That's fine. JL, have you watched the show?
I have. I would probably put it in a C. I think it's fine. But it didn't strike me as anything like particularly really special. Maybe in the genre, but I will.
You're not a fantasy guy.
I am.
No.
But I feel like
we need to separate these lists out a little bit.
All right. Yeah, no, I think it's great for its genre.
An S, and I can't even do that for Witcher. It's the one season, but I love The Witcher, and I'm so excited for the future. John, coming to you. What do you? Is there another show you want to talk about here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at. Okay, so a couple of things came into my mind. Right, I'm looking at Ozark, and I'm like, I want to touch on Ozark because it's one of my favorites. But I looked next to it. Maria talked about Iron Fist, which was poop. But Daredevil,
that's always fun to talk about poop shows. We need to fill out these lower tiers.
No, I got to give respect to one of these Marvel series that was actually really good. It was one of the first ones they did, which was Daredevil. Fair enough. I don't know if you guys watched it. I think they did three seasons of it. I thought it was phenomenal. The fight scenes were just A1 for like a Netflix original series. I thought that it was just really well done. They introduced some new characters into it and whatnot, which was okay. So the storyline kind of takes a tumble as it goes along, but I'm gonna put it in the B tier. I'm a fan of superhero movies and shows, so I want to put it in like the A tier, but I will put it in the B tier because I thought it was really, really, really good show.
Perfect. So Daredevil in B tier. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I loved it as well. I would certainly put it up there in terms of these Netflix Marvel shows. Not quite as high as Luke Cage, probably, but on par with like Jessica Jones. So I would probably put it in. I think B is fine. I would probably put it in A. I would give it a little nudge.
Let's put it in B.
I can live with
Yeah,
the A,
same
man.
right
If
there.
JL wants to put it in A, I could totally back it. I'm just.
We're putting.
What
it in.
about you, Josh?
Yeah, Josh
That's what I'm
decides me.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So I haven't even. I've watched a couple episodes, but it didn't attract. Like, I feel like I do that with a lot of the Marvel shows. I've seen all the Marvel movies, but the shows, like I just don't finish. There's actually one I see people talking about in the chat, and it's Punisher. That's the one
Yes.
I've watched all the way through, and I would rank that higher. But I think Daredevil
Punisher is
belongs
good.
perfectly in B. I think that's just like the right spot for it.
Okay.
In my mind.
Frank Castiglione. Wow, I can't believe Jay put Midnight Gospel in here. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, Jo, you're up.
It's my turn again. Wow, this
Yeah.
keeps happening. Gosh, have either of you seen Midnight Gospel? Because I feel like if
I
I pick
have.
it, you have.
I have.
Okay, then I will talk.
I haven't
about
seen
Midnight.
every episode, but it's weird.
It's super weird, but I love it. It comes from Pendleton Ward, I believe. I don't know how involved with if he's like the sole creator, how involved with, but he's if you don't know who that is, it's the guy who created Venture Time. It's good. It's really trippy, very spiritual, I guess. Very like but also very trippy. So I would put Midnight Gospel in A.
I'm thinking B in my mind. John,
It's not
have you seen
B
it?
for everyone. It's not gonna have like mainstream appeal.
John
I
hasn't
think.
seen it. So do you think
I
it
have not seen
belongs
it.
in AJL? Because I haven't seen every episode, but like me, it hasn't like quite like made me want to watch every episode. So I definitely can't put it in A.
I would put it in A just for creativity alone.
Listen, I gave
Tim
you
said
Master
I
and
did
None
that
in
for
A.
you, JL.
Decide
Tim.
if you want Master and None or Midnight Gospel in A. You got to choose one.
I gotta pick one.
Yes, pick one.
No. All right, leave Midnight Gospel and B then.
All right, fair enough. Because I could put him in. I could easily put Midnight Gospel in C for me.
I don't like
you know?
that you have the power, Josh. We're
I
Simon.
don't have all the power. I mean, like we're just doing our show here.
All right.
I could easily say it's F, and like really bury it if I wanted to.
You could. You could.
That's power. Like you with freaking bacon.
F.
Yeah, you. John, what tier
Get
does
him off the
bacon
show.
belong in breakfast food? Bacon.
No,
Tier it
we're not
right now.
talking about that,
F.
Josh.
S.
Yeah, S.
Absolutely.
No
Yeah.
shit. Sorry. I digress. The next one I want to talk about actually is the Queen's Gambit. I know there's
I
only
was
one
hoping you'd
season,
bring it up.
and there's only one season in The Witcher, but there's only ever going to be one season of Queen's Gambit, and they freaking killed that series. They killed it. They made chess exciting somehow. I don't know. I like chess. Don't get me wrong, but like they made me want to watch I binged through the show in 2 days. It's S for me. Queen's Gambit is S for me. John, have you seen Queen's Gambit?
So I've been just some background. Most of these Netflix shows, mostly all of them, I watch with my wife because, as you guys heard, my schedule, I don't really have time to watch. a lot of these
I get it.
series. So I have to convince my wife. I've been begging her, "Hey, let's
She's
watch."
gonna like
Queen's
it. I don't know
Gambit."
your wife, but she's gonna like it.
But I know that she's gonna love it.
I've been trying to get her on it. I'm gonna try to convince
You
her
got
again
this.
one more time.
You got
But
this.
yeah, we're gonna try to make that happen. But I've heard good things. It seems interesting to me. Just gonna have to wait and see.
What do you think, JL?
I fully agree with you, Josh. S tier.
S? Let's go.
S.
Queen's Gambit an S. JL and I even agreed. That's an amazing feat, right?
That
there.
is.
And Anthony coming in was saying, did the Flora Lava get snubbed? I've watched this quite a bit, actually. It's entertaining as hell, but if it was a one here, I would not be able to put it with the rest of these shows, to be honest. Anyway,
Never even heard it.
Don, you're up now.
All right, I'm gonna go with one of these shows that I put on. I actually asked to get on here. There's 3 like dating type shows. I don't want to say dating because I don't want to lump the circle into a dating show, but Love is Blind. I don't know if how many people have seen that, but that show is absolutely ridiculous in terms of what the the psychological trauma that they put people through. It's just absolutely crazy to me. And they even had the reunion, and then just the other day they released the anniversary, and it seems like they're just trying to continue to build off of the first season and the relationships that were formed and some of the relationships that weren't formed. And if you like drama, which I typically don't, but this is just, it's like there's a car accident, but you just have to look, right? And that's Love Is Blind for me. It's like I have to watch it. And so for that, it belongs in the S tier for me.
So are there like, yeah. So I haven't seen it. So
Lauren and Cam, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what they do is, if you haven't seen it, JL, have you seen it?
I have not seen it either.
Okay, so basically what they do, real quick synopsis, they throw people into these blind dates. Like they're in this place for like a week or whatever, what they call the pods, and you can only speak to the person. You can't see them. Okay. You have no idea what they look like. And the only way you can meet them is if one of the two people in the pods proposes. That's the only way. Like actually,
you're getting married afterwards?
Propose to get married. Oh, and so then you go on a honeymoon. All the couples are finally there.
I see why people like this.
They actually get married.
Yeah, after they get married. Well, no, before they get married, they go on like this quick like honeymoon, but they've put all the couples at the same resort. So now, like the person that you were talking to, that you were building a relationship that you didn't marry, is now on the resort, and now you see what they look like.
You're like, damn, so Rebecca's fine as hell. Why didn't I go with Rebecca?
So much drama.
And then you have to go to the altar after like a week of like living together and whatnot. You go to the altar, you have to say yes or you have to say no. So it's like there's more drama filled in that. It's just a really good show. If you haven't seen it, I personally believe it belongs in the S tier. It's perfect for couple. Yes, for me, it belongs in the S tier because it is. I cannot keep my eyes off of this show.
So, JL, I know you haven't seen it, but are you abstaining? Are you allowing this being in the S tier?
It feels, just based off the description, I feel like I can't allow it to be in the S tier. But
that's kind of how I feel. I feel like we got to pull it down to A. I personally.
Are you fine with us putting it in A, John?
That's completely okay.
It's hilarious how biased we are. Like we selectively apply these rules.
I just understand. Like if I have seen this, I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. I'm just saying there's no way I'm putting it in.
You know who definitely, like without a doubt, watched this and most definitely loves it is Simon.
Oh yeah. If Simon was here, it's probably ending up in S tier for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna text him right now.
I'm sorry we did that to you, John, but I feel like we have to level you out a little bit.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, some people in the comments agree with me. So my guy J Wall, Lauren and Cam, he knows what's up.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. J Wall is just like Simon, you know.
All right. There are two shows that I want us to get to, and I would be sad if we don't.
Yeah, hit me.
There may be three. All right. One is Making a Murderer. Maria and I are in the second season now. We finally watched it. After I know everyone was talking about it.
You guys are late to the game a little bit.
Very late to the game.
But that's fine. Better late than never.
I thought about tweeting out last week, like, wow, have you guys heard of this new documentary, Making a Murderer? It's great. But it's S tier for me. I am like, we are on like a true crime binge. Another fantastic one is The Jinx on HBO, if you're a true crime person. But yeah, Making a Murderer, fantastic so far. S tier.
I watched Making a Murderer, loved it. It's A tier for me. But I'm not far off of you. John, what do you think?
Haven't seen it, but I love you too, Jay. Haven't seen it, but I would imagine that I would actually like it because it is a true crime show, and I do like those shows. So I will abstain, but I will agree that it belongs in one of those top two tiers based on the genre.
What is your favorite true crime? You know,
Forensic Files.
Okay.
Forensic Files is my ish.
What I'm talking about. Yeah, you would like Making a Murder probably. And yeah, Jay's making a great point there, right? I feel bad that we almost did that to Love Is Blind. Should we just do that, JL? Should we just allow it?
That's fine.
All right, it's S tier. It's S tier. All right.
If we get Jay direct all to you, John.
Yeah. Exactly. So wait, what were we just talking about? Oh yeah, making
It's
a
you.
murder. I
You
put
got-
an A. You put an S.
Okay.
It's technically
And John's
supposed to be
on
an A.
But you didn't.
John,
you didn't put it somewhere.
John, put it somewhere.
Break
S or
the
A.
tie.
Oh,
You-
I gotta
yeah.
put it somewhere. We'll put it in A because I haven't seen it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Move Love Is Blind down.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. You leave it. You leave it.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
The other show,
there
Jay.
there are multiple shows I want to talk about, but I know we got to go. We got to hit these, and let's talk about Tiger King. It's so
No.
exciting. I saw it all. I liked it, but guess what? It's in B for me. It was entertaining as all hell, but that's why I liked it. B. John, did you see Tiger King? Nope.
Did not. Nope. I've
JL,
not seen Tiger
did you
King.
see it?
Didn't see it.
You didn't see it? So Tiger King's going in C. I'm actually lowering my vote. John, the last round for us. Let's rapid fire.
Ooh, last round.
Last one. Let's just rapid fire. Rapid fire.
Yeah. Okay. Umbrella Academy.
Oh, I didn't realize
S-tier.
it's on here.
Oh yeah, it is here. I missed it too. S tier for Umbrella. What at JL? What do you think?
I put it in A.
I put it in A as well. Sorry, John. JL.
You
Last
put
one.
Too Hot to Handle up there, Josh.
Oh, oops.
Shoot. Okay, I'm gonna bring up two.
No, just one.
No, after you go, Josh. There are two that need to be on here. I'm gonna bring up Mindhunter, the first one.
Okay.
Mindhunter is S tier. It's fantastic. What's his name? Jonathan Groff or whatever his name is. Fantastic in that. Definitely another one of those like drama serial killer type shows. All about like FBI studying serial killers. Fantastic. S tier.
Yeah, I watched it. Watched half the first season. The fact that I only watched half shows you how I feel about it. It's going in B tier for me.
Wow.
You see it, John?
I have not seen it. So I will abstain from voting here, but I've heard good things.
All right, and I get to talk about one more, and it's going to wait. Did we ever talk about Ozark?
We did not. I like
Where
half
is
Daredevil.
it?
Where is
It's
it?
literally right
like
between the
6.
circle, right next to the
Yeah.
circle. Yep.
Dark? Wait.
Yeah, in between
Right.
circle. It's right there. You were just scrolling
You
over.
literally hovered over it.
to the
Dark?
right of,
Yeah, right
of
there.
circle. Oh, is that Dark?
yeah.
I thought that was Ozark.
Oh, I thought that was Ozark
Oh.
too.
No, this is Ozark isn't here, guys.
Oh,
What the hell?
That's
What the
Dark.
hell,
And
Jay?
Dark, by the way, is a great show. But I want to talk about BoJack Horseman. BoJack Horseman.
No.
Let's go. John, have you seen it?
I've saw like I think one episode and I was like, I don't think this is for me.
Okay, so you can, you're probably like beer tier then. JL, you don't like
F.
BoJack very much.
F.
Okay, so we'll just put it in C. Whatever.
One more.
All right,
One more.
There it is.
Luke
Okay,
Cage.
JL.
Luke Cage. S tier.
I've seen some Luke Cage, and it's like C tier for me. John,
What?
have you seen it? Yeah.
I've seen
You
Luke
didn't keep
Cage.
my
And
attention.
I don't know, man. Like
And
the
you just
first season
F-tiered
was really
BoJack.
good. The first season was really good, but then I felt like the second season got a little corny on me. So I'll go with it. I'll go with the A tier. I'll balance it out.
So B, I guess.
1, 2, yeah, sure. Yeah, Luke Cage B.
That is
and
criminal.
there it is, people. There it is. There it is. Like Netflix is killing the game. We can't even put these shows low enough to get a D and F tier. I'm sure we would if we eventually
If we
started
kept
talking about
going,
all
we
these,
might
but-
have to do a part 2 of this. Get John back on here.
Yeah,
because there's some
we
stuff I
might
really
have
want
to.
to talk about.
I was gonna say,
I'm
House-
right there with you. I
House of
never
Cards
realized
might
how
be
much
F.
I love the freaking Netflix originals. There's
Yeah.
so many good ones. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us in terms of the tiers, right?
Yes,
We're going
I
away,
believe
people.
so.
We're going away.
Very
Forget about
sad.
it. Forget about it.
Jay's very sad.
I hope we
did
didn't
not do
screw up that
Stranger
much.
If I
We'll
gave
post
my
them on
Stranger
Twitter.
Things take, I don't think that people would like me anymore. So
Things. I would probably support you, John, assuming I'm reading your statement right. Jay said it earlier. Why does he feel like JL does not like Stranger Things? It's because I don't.
Oh,
But John-
I'm so happy we didn't bring it up because I would have just ended the show so angry. So BoJack and Stranger Things, Jesus.
Fantasy Future says, I was just thinking BoJack. BoJack is S tier in humor and feels.
It
Simon
is.
would definitely.
It
It's
is.
Simon's like favorite show
I
of
know,
all time.
I know it is.
We've had this discussion in a previous show. I forget. We
I
did
think
a
we
tiers
talked about
with-
cartoons.
Yeah, it might have been a brackets,
previously.
but I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
I don't love BoJack. Anyway, John, thank you so much for joining us again. As always, it's a top tier episode whenever you come on, my friend.
hey, tier.
Absolutely.
Well, fellas, look, man,
Yes.
I appreciate the invite. I mean, look, like I said, when I'm watching your show, I'm in the comments begging to schedule another doctor's appointment because that's my excuse for being on a live at 3 p.m.
Yes.
But I really appreciate the opportunity. And obviously, anytime, Jon Jeune, friend of the show, will always be back when you guys come calling.
Great friend of the show.
Great, fantastic, closest friend of the show, best friend of the show. How many different?
All right, calm down.
Sully says John is S tier. Yes, make sure you go follow John. He's at JR Football Nerd. He is doing incredible stuff. If you were here in the beginning of the episode, you heard all of the stuff he's working on. Fantasy football diagnostics. Now we have Liftoff Podcasts, contributing to Gridiron Ratings. New show coming out soon with them. Fan-sided contributor on the Jet Press. And does not stop. He's going to give you the best fantasy analysis season. Make sure you go follow him. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. Whew,
and one thing you forgot to say about him is he knows that trading makes fantasy fun.
I knew it.
Joshua, trading definitely makes fantasy fun.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I like.
I was not having, especially when you win the trade. I was not having fun earlier this week, Josh, when you sent me a trade offer. I'll leave it at that.
I don't remember. I've sent a lot of trade offers this week, actually.
All right. Well, that will do it for us today. Trying to make something happen. But yes, that will do it for us today. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitch, Front Yard Fantasy, as well as on Twitter, Front Yard FYF. You can follow Josh and I at our handles there on the screen, FYF John Luke, FYF Josh. We will be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. live in Canton. I think we're playing Quiplash all together for the first time in forever.
And maybe I hope ever. I'm driving. I'm leaving at 8 in the morning. It's 6-hour drive. I should be there in time. There in time.
If not, I believe Simon and Tim and I will be there, and Jay will be there. And then tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time, check out FanDuel's Twitch channel. We will be there playing live. And I believe we're playing Fantasy Fortune this week. Am I wrong, Josh?
Yes, absolutely.
I am absolutely wrong.
Almost ready together.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace.